Chelsea host Sheffield United with the aim of reaching the FA Cup semi-finals for the 11th time in 20 seasons. More than any other club in that period, by the way. Hello and welcome to Matchday Live. I'm joined by Jason Cundy, Savage Dan and Claire Rafferty. Let's get straight to it because the team news is out. In goal for Chelsea today, Kepa Arrizabalaga. Potentially a back three, maybe a back four. Not quite sure on this just yet. But Andreas Christensen, Kurt Zouma, Ben Chilwell, Billy Gilmore. Captain for the day, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Emerson, Christian Pulisic, Mateo Kovacic and Olivier Giroud. On the bench for Chelsea today, Kai Havertz, Cesar Azpilicueta, Reece James, Hakim Ziyech, Willy Caballero, Timo Werner, N'Golo Kanté, Marcos Alonso and Antonio Rudiger. Immediate reactions to that then, Jay. It's a good opportunity to make a semi-final of an FA Cup and the manager's obviously thinking about that because it's quite a strong team.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, chaps. It's a really strong team, as you would expect. It is a wonderful opportunity. You can't ask much more, really, than a home tie when you get to this stage. And when you look at what was left in it, it could have been much tougher. But I'm not underestimating Sheffield United. They will probably put out a very strong side themselves. I haven't seen it yet. Their season has been a disaster. Yet they can still somehow find a way to get to Wembley within 90 minutes of football. So we need to be very much aware of what they offer as a threat. I think it will be a 3. I can't quite work out who plays as a right back in a 4. So I expect that same formation to be interesting to see who plays on the left-hand side of centre-half because Kurt's in there, Christensen's in there, and it feels like it might possibly be Chilwell. A really strong side, and I think we should deal with this one quite comfortably.
Claire, obviously, you've won the FA Cup yourself. So talk to me from a player's perspective. When do you start thinking about the trophy? Because, we're not looking past Sheffield United today, but in all fairness, Chelsea will go into this full of confidence. And then you're in the last 4, you're at Wembley. Chelsea got a great record in this competition. So do you start to think about that? Or is it purely you focus on the next game and you worry about that after?
I think, yeah, of course, you do take one game at a time and all that cliches that go with that. But Premier League form, for me, doesn't count for anything in these one-off cup ties because of the nature of the game and nature of the FA Cup. I do think you do always have one eye on that trophy. You can see it shining in the distance. The stages you need to get to. But I just think it's a fantastic opportunity, isn't it, for Chelsea to potentially win some silverware. Sheffield United have had dismal second season back in the Premier League. I think they're currently sitting bottom. So if we take the two forms, I know I said we shouldn't compare in these cup ties, but I do think we are firm favourites for this game, and it'd be fantastic to overcome this and get to the semis and head to Wembley.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Especially, Dan, because, we know how important it is to get to Wembley. Chelsea's record at Wembley is frighteningly good as well. You take away the fact that, obviously, that last season's final, which is a very different occasion. But I suppose for a lot of the players, last year was such a new experience. Mason Mount's a great example. Obviously, captain's aside today, but for someone to play in his first FA Cup final, no fans, and then not win the game, there's going to be that itch to put that right this year, isn't there?
Yeah, we have a very, very good record in the FA Cup. So I'm expecting us to do away with Sheffield United, get to Wembley, get to the final. I might be expecting too much, but we're in good form, and Sheffield United are in the opposite kind of form. So I'm expecting a win today, and it would be great to get some silverware.
Mate, really, I love the term "do away with." Dan's so casual about games. I rate it so much. The confidence is unbelievable. We are joined by Lee Parker, who's pitch side at Stamford Bridge for us. Lee, we've just heard the team news. Obviously, the conversation immediately would, I suppose, be who's going to be in that back 3. I wonder if you could shed any light on that for us.
Well, I would imagine it'll be Emerson on the left of the back 3. We've seen him played there before. Thomas Tuchel has looked at him there with Chilwell in front of him at left wing back. Gilmore and Kovacic, obviously the double 6, as the boss refers to it. 100th start in all competitions, by the way, for Mateo Kovacic for Chelsea. And so good to see Mason Mount captaining the side once again, as we saw, I think the last time was here against Luton, wasn't it, in the Cup?
Just on Mateo Kovacic, Lee, because I didn't know about his 100th start, but I have seen a lot of praise coming in from this week. Mainly because another thing that I didn't know about him, but he speaks 5 languages.
Yeah.
And you forget, for a player who's only 26 years of age, I think it is, he's got numerous Champions League trophies in his cabinet already. He speaks 5 languages. He's played for Chelsea, Inter Milan, Real Madrid. He is such an important figure, I suppose, for any manager coming in. But I imagine having someone like him in the dressing room for Thomas Tuchel in the first couple of months while he's settling in, can knit the side together, has been so important.
Absolutely right. I mean, he's one of those the quote unquote first names on the team sheet, isn't he? And I spoke to Thomas Tuchel about him a couple of weeks ago, and he said he's so reliable. You can call him at 3:00 in the morning; he'll be ready to turn up and train at 3:15. And he's looked so dynamic in that midfield under him as well. And like you say, he speaks so many languages. He's not as vocal as maybe some are, but on the pitch, he's a true leader, isn't he? And we've seen the very best of him in recent weeks.
He's obviously player of the season last year for Chelsea as well. He's alongside Billy Gilmour in the middle today, which is a big opportunity for Billy. We've seen Billy so desperately unlucky with injuries, over the last year. He just burst onto the sort of the picture around about this time last year, wasn't it? In the FA Cup fixtures against Liverpool and Everton, he was superb. But then after lockdown, he got that injury. How important is it for him today to take his opportunity? Because we know how good he is, but he's also in a very, very competitive area of the squad, isn't he?
Absolutely. You're right to make the point about his injuries. The game against Leicester, I felt he struggled. It was a tough game for him last season. But he's got someone of vast experience. You've just highlighted there what Cover has won. So he has to be that in the middle of the park, the big central player. He's got to be the experience in there and help Billy. Keep things simple. Billy's a talented boy. We've seen on this stage what he can do. It won't overawe him. I think he'll deal with it very, very well. The players trust him. The manager trusts him. It's a huge chance. But the problem we've got, as you've just highlighted there, it's so fiercely competitive in the middle of the park there. It's almost vital that he gets in and plays to the highest level he can today, just to be on the manager's mind.
Claire, it's difficult, isn't it? Because we're heading into an international break where a lot of players will be playing for their countries and obviously giving everything as we always know. But I suppose in the back of your mind, there is that horrible scenario where you think if someone gets injured in this, it's going to affect Chelsea. You look at the squad today, you look at the bench alone, you look at the players that are given an opportunity, and you think the squad that Chelsea have got, there's other teams that will be going away on international break and they'll have updates on their phone. I'm sure we all will. And every little glimmer you'll go, oh, please don't be, please don't be. Chelsea have got an enormous squad, but a very competitive one at that. So there's an opportunity for players today to say, look, Gaffer, if the opportunity comes, if the horrible does happen, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. I think the competitive nature of the squad, the fact that there's such huge talent, strength and depth in the squad is a credit to kind of the recruitment that's gone on in the background. But I do think you're right. I think we're going to be probably less on our toes as potentially other teams. But I think also on the backside of that, I'll give some of the players who are currently injured, like Tammy, who is not, I'm pretty sure he's not made the squad today, off the back of having an ankle injury, and then obviously Thiago Silva. I think this period out might actually allow them to have a couple of weeks leeway and get fit back for after the international break. So then we'll have any more depth of the squad. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no one gets injured in the meantime, though.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We absolutely. Tammy Abraham top goal scorer in the FA Cup, by the way. Even for the fact that he's not involved today, but like you said, if we get through to the semi-final, hopefully be back for that. Let's go into our hot topic one for today, which is UEFA Champions League draw reaction. I love the smiles across everyone because Dan, we're not taking anything for granted, but let's not be disingenuous. When the draw was read out, everyone was hoping every Chelsea fan would have been in the same situation. On paper, Porto's the one you want to play because you don't want to play Bayern Munich, you don't want to play Manchester City. We know how good Liverpool are, Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund have got Erling Haaland, so they've always got a chance, PSG, etc. So Porto are the ones that everyone would have liked. Porto are a very, very good side. They've put Juventus out in the last round, but it's a good opportunity for Chelsea, and it's probably the draw that suits us most, isn't it?
Yeah, we got the luck of the draw straight away. They're all great teams, but if you're looking at it on paper, Porto are probably the weakest in that draw. I think we're in quite a good position because we're probably the team that, regardless of who you are, you don't want to play Chelsea. We're a little bit of an unknown quantity. We're in good form. We're fearless. And you just don't really know. Even if you are a Bayern Munich or a City, you don't really know what it's like to play this version of Chelsea. It's a very different outfit to what it was a few months or a year ago. So I'm quietly confident about beating Porto and quietly confident really against anyone right now. I feel like we're looking that good.
Completely agree, mate. Completely agree. And Lee, I suppose Dan's already touched on the point there, but the one thing that any team will be looking at with Chelsea is they don't concede goals. And at the moment, even if you're a Bayern Munich or a Manchester City that are running rampant and are scoring, 3-4 times. I mean, Robert Lewandowski, I'm pretty sure he's scored goals since we started talking about this conversation. He's that good at the moment. He's so consistent in the way that he scores. But whoever you're playing, if you don't concede goals, teams take you a lot more seriously. So there is an element of that Chelsea are the team that you didn't want to draw in this, regardless of who you are.
I think you're right. It's really interesting. You talk about the clean sheets. It's something that we've spoken to Thomas Tuchel about, and I talked to him on Friday after the press conference, and I put a stat to him that I can't take credit for, but Paul Dutton and Rick Landell put in the pre-match briefing that if they keep a clean sheet here today, it equals a club record going back to the 1905-1906 season, which is a little bit bonkers. And he kind of was like, no, it's fine. We're taking it game by game. But you're absolutely right. Teams across Europe are going to be looking at that thinking, we've just beaten Atletico Madrid over 2 legs, barely giving them a sniff. So, teams are going to look at that, aren't they?
Oh, completely right. Jay, that is a stunning stat, that, isn't it? And again, as a former defender yourself, it's nice to see, and I know they always do, but, we've seen the development of football over the last decade or so where teams want to play out from the back a little bit more. And it's nice to see players that take a huge amount of pride in clean sheets and just want to defend, I suppose, first.
Yeah, I mean, yes, the goalkeeper takes the credit and the back 3 or the back 5, but as a unit, if you look at the way we defend, Mason Mount is the first line of defence. He closes high up the pitch. So as a defender, you always pride yourself on keeping a clean sheet. But what I'm seeing here is a unit. I'm seeing a team defend as a unit, and that is why we've been so tight at the back, because of the way that we tend, not just the back 3, not just the goalkeeper. I mean, really, if you look at Mendy, he hasn't had a lot to do, and that's because of the way we as a team have defended. It's been a masterclass at times. And yes, there's a lot of scary teams across Europe, but the firepower they got up top, thankfully, we're in the right side of that draw. There is a path, you can see a pathway to the final. I bet Real Madrid and Liverpool are thinking the same, though. So we will not take Porto lightly. The home record is stunning, but at least we don't play the big heads of Bayern, City or PSG until the final. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely right, mate. Well, that is all from us for now. We'll be back shortly, of course. But first, let's hear what record-breaking Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel had to say in his pre-match press conference.
Thank you. Hi, Thomas. What did you make of the Champions League draw?
First of all, I'm happy that we play an international game and not against the English team, because Champions League is about that. As I always prefer to play against teams from other countries. Then we have a second leg at home, which feels good to start an away game and have maybe the slight advantage of finish at home. And clearly many people will maybe now make us the favorites against Porto. That will not help us, because you can ask in Turin what the opinion about this is. If it helps you to be favorites, it helps. It does not help you, but we are self-confident, and self-confident has a is strongly connected with our performances. And we are confident that we face a strong opponent, that we face with all the respect. But now that we are in quarterfinal, we think about how to win it, and we think about the only thing we focus is on to reach the semi-final. And we are self-confident enough that we see our chances.
And people are really taking notice of your team at the moment, especially from a defensive point of view. From a tactical viewpoint, what have you changed since you came in?
It's hard for me to say, because I'm not in detail aware what happened before. Of course, we use a different structure, but the structure is not the most important. The most important is how we live the structure and how the players behave in the structure. And this is what makes it in the moment very special. And because the players perform as a team on a very high level. Well, defending, I know that the focus is now big on defending, because we concede very few goals only, and we are able to deserve clean sheets, which is very, very hard in modern football nowadays. But to defend is also to move the ball, to have ball possession is also a way to defend, because in the moment where you have the ball, there's no chance to concede a goal. So and from there on, football stays a very complex game, and you need to be good in all parts of it. And I'm very happy because we invest a lot. We play a high intensity game, and we have a huge effort as a team in many constellations, even with many changes. And the players and the squad competed on a very high level and got deserved results, which gave us a lot of confidence, of course. And then we are happy to keep the momentum going. We're very solid. We're very brave. We try to be active throughout the match. We are confident in our physical performances, in our physical input that we can give, and this makes us, like I said, very self-confident, and gives us a lot of strength and belief in the moment.
What kind of a boost was it for you, Thomas, to have Werner, Havertz and Ziyech together as the front three against Atletico, and how much are they improving game by game as they adapt to English football?
Yeah, they actually improve a lot, and it's also necessary. We don't need to talk around it. It's also necessary that they improve, and that they made this choice to join a strong club in the strongest league, and it is a big choice out of the comfort zone, which I like a lot, because only out of your comfort zone you can improve and you can challenge yourself, and this is what the guys do. We made the choice for the three guys. As you know, we had many changes up front, and we had many constellations, and we were sometimes a bit worried about our lack of precision, about lack of composure, that we were not clinical enough. But we were never, in no game of the 13 games, never concerned about the work rate, about the intensity against the ball, and this we can never forget. If you look at our first goal now against Atletico, you will see Timo doing a defensive tackle before the counter-attack starts, and this is maybe in the moment the thing that makes us very special, that we truly attack together and we defend together. And at the same time, I was very happy with the three clicking. They had a good game together. They were we had a good connection in between them. And still there are things to improve, but I'm happy with the development, and there are other guys out there waiting for their chance and having huge impact from the bench. It's a good moment.
Last question, Paul.
I don't know if you've had the chance to see the pictures of Thiago Silva leading the celebrations on Wednesday night. I'm just wondering, what is he doing for your team spirit as well, and how confident are you that he can extend his contract and stay part of this?
Well, I know Thiago now for many years, and we had a fantastic partnership in Paris. He was an absolutely reliable partner as captain for me as a coach from the first minute I stepped in. Once he is part of a team, he is 100% part of the team. He is 100% professional, and he's a very emotional guy. All three of them, Mason, Jorginho and Thiago, were simply totally involved in the game, and I can only repeat that makes the group special in the moment. I heard them during the match coaching. I heard them taking care. I heard them to support the players. I felt the same thing, for example, for Willy Caballero and Kepa on the bench. And this is, if we wanna have special results, if we wanna have a special results and special moments, we need to play with a special atmosphere. This does not change in football, not on the highest level, and not around the corner in the park. It is like this, and this is what football can do. And to create an atmosphere like this, you can totally rely on Thiago. He absolutely sees himself as a team player, and he lives for the team that he plays for. Or when he's on the stands, he suffers. He suffers like he did, and he was so happy for Emerson to score with the other guys. About his contract is too early, and it's not the surrounding now to speak about it. It's between him and the club, and me and the club. We will take this decision together. But when you watch the pictures carefully, you will see how young he looks. So he runs the stairs up and down. He was dressed like a 28-year-old. So I think there's still a way to go.
John Southall, 5 Live.
Hi Thomas, how are you? Didier looked quite fit running up and down those stairs. Is he available tomorrow? What is the team?
He was not on the pitch again. I don't know if he got re-injured or it was like a bit too much. No, but we take now is not the moment to take the risk for him in the last game before the international break. Now we get the chance really to win another 2 weeks. It's already too long, but I know how hard the medical team is working. I know how reliable everybody is here, so 0 complaints, and we're just wishing for him to feel free and to feel 100% free. So we're taking our time now. He's in individual sessions and will join the group hopefully during international breaks, and from there on rejoin the group to be ready for the decisive end of the season.
Is Tammy still injured?
No, Tammy was with the group today. We had a little bit of a scary moment because he stumbled again and twisted his ankle, and was a painful moment, but hopefully not too serious. So right now I really hope that he can be back in the squad for Sunday.
Is it a chance for Tammy or for Olivier Giroud to try and force their way back in? How do you see him with Olivier Giroud? I mean, he hasn't featured, I think, since the 28th of February.
Yeah.
Do you see him as an impact sub, or do you see him as a bit more than that now?
I think that he can have a huge impact to our team because he has the experience, the physical presence, the ruthlessness in the box that he represents, and that is his style of football. He suffered now in the last 2.5 weeks, in the last 4 games, a bit, which is I'm not so happy with my team manager, with the decision making during the matches in Southampton and Leeds. Maybe after the games I had the feeling this could have been 2 games where he should have some 20-25 minutes to actually maybe help us to have a win instead of a draw. I didn't give him these minutes because I also have to say honestly I have to adapt back to the 3 changes, which is actually sometimes only 2 changes because the last one you don't want to do too early. So I have to readapt to this also. So this is clearly my fault. He's training good. He had a very decisive goal for us in Atletico. After that, I assumed that the games against Liverpool, Everton, and now would be high intensity games, where we use maybe more the speed, which is not his biggest strength, and there's no problem about it. He will stay positive. Sure, it's my job to stay close to him and to push him and to give him. Also the true feeling that he is still important, because he is really important for me. And so the game now Sunday is the next moment. I think that the national break comes for a good moment for Oli to keep the head a little bit up the clouds and to relive and enjoy the moment here with us, because I know that he's a big factor in the group. He's a big part in the dressing room, and I want him to continue like this.
Moose, Talk Sport.
Hi Thomas, how are you?
I'm fine.
The best winning start for a Chelsea coach ever. Has it even surprised you, the fact that your team have hit the ground running so quickly? Because normally it would take a manager, 2 or 3 months, and we talk about a honeymoon period. You haven't even needed that.
Yeah, not the surprise is the wrong word. I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the club. I'm impressed by the structure. I'm impressed by the support from the first minute. I'm even impressed by the feeling that I got from the first day when I arrived here. I'm impressed by my team. This is the most important, by the attitude of the players, their capability to play on an intensity level. I'm impressed by their approach to training and to games. This is amazing experience for me. This is an amazing feeling for me. So we never thought about what is possible, where is the limit. We go, and this will never change. We go game by game, step by step. But to arrive as a coach with a team like this, in a club like this, where everybody really thinks about football, thinks about how to win the next game, how to push the guys, and to feel a bond between the players, and a very unique atmosphere and approach to performance, and to being tired after training, to being tired after games, to live every day up to the limit, and to play on this level. This is truly impressive, and in the end, this is what makes it possible to have a series like this. We clearly need luck for that. We need little decisions. We need a bit of the momentum. This is normal. But the foundation for all this comes from the players, the attitude, and the club. So it's easy for me to play my part. I do my best, like everybody expects, also from me. And it feels very, very good, because it feels deserved, and I hope that everybody, and I truly feel it, that everybody in the dressing room feels why we have these results, because we have a lot of input.
One more, please.
Okay, it's sort of two questions in one. First of all, how do you get your team to score more goals? You sorted out the defence, that's done. So how do you get your team to score more goals? And secondly, you're on still winning 2 trophies, the FA Cup and the Champions League. Is that doable for you this season?
First of all, football is very complex, and it's all about balance. You cannot score without defending. You cannot defend without having the ball and be in possession. So it's a team effort, and it came natural to us that we kept the opponents from creating chances, and this is a unique quality that we show. And I just can repeat myself. Yeah, we lack some precision, we lack some goals, but what we never lacked was the work rate against the ball, and by the way, we never lacked touches in the box, we never lacked shots. Maybe we lacked precision, and for sure we did, and composure, but maybe it's our fault because we work so hard against the ball. So it's about balance, and once you have a squad in balance, and I truly feel our squad balanced in the way how they play, and how they feel that they are also strong on the pitch. And now it's fragile. It's always fragile. So why now to focus on too much on problems? It's always our key to improve, and we will never stop to think about how to create, which we do actually since we arrive. We talk about offensive solutions, and we talk about where to create spaces and to accelerate our attacks. And at the same time, we play in excellent counter pressing, and we have a very active and aggressive way of playing. So let's also accept that it's the hardest thing to score in football, and let's keep on trusting the guys that they can show their qualities, and we will try to create even more clear chances. What was the second question?
Moose, do you want to unmute yourself and just repeat that?
Yeah, the second part was just about, can you win 2 trophies? I mean, is that doable for a new coach to come and win 2 trophies?
It's a bit the same like if you ask me on the first day, can you be unbeaten in 13 games and do 11 clean sheets? I don't know, but in the end you have to see, it maybe yes, maybe no. So I can only tell you, is it possible to win against Sheffield on Sunday? Yes, it is possible. Is it easy? No. If you want to win, if you want to be in Wembley, you need to win this game, and there is no other approach. But is it possible to win the FA Cup? Yes, for sure. And is it possible to win a Champions League when you arrive in quarterfinal? Yes, for all 8 teams is possible. And from there on, admit it and put it aside, because you just lose focus, and the focus is performance, intensity, attitude, mentality against Sheffield. and nothing else. And then first leg against Porto, and then second leg, and then be ready every minute of the game, because it's football, anything can happen. And I'm pretty sure, 100% sure, that Sheffield arrives to beat us and Porto will arrive to beat us. So these are the challenges, and then we will see where the limit is.
Last two questions in this section. Nick Purewall and Adam Newson to finish. Nick.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
You obviously clearly care a lot about your players, and we see that with how you are with them on the touchline and things like that. So with that in mind, how pleased are you with the club's latest initiatives, anti-racism initiatives, the Say No to Hate campaign? And is the club do you think the players will appreciate the efforts that the club is going to now to try to help them where possible with things that obviously shouldn't happen, but unfortunately do?
Yeah, and this is a great thing to have, and Mr. Abramovich initiated this campaign, which is a great thing to do and the absolutely right thing to do. There should be no space for hate and racism in this society, and for sure not in football. And so this is the 100% right thing to do, and I'm proud to be part of it as a part of Chelsea.
Last question, Adam Newson.
Hi Thomas. Can I just ask you about Timo Werner? He's obviously trained with you since you arrived, and he's a young player. Is he likely to be involved at the weekend, and how do you see his development path under you?
Yeah, I got to know Tino. I did not know much of him, and I got to know him here from the first day. I was very impressed because he's a very physique player, tall guy, strong guy. He has the ability to keep the ball under pressure because he has the body for it. He has the physical ability to play and train with us on this level. He had some minutes in Barnsley in the cup game. We try to involve him now in the group against Sheffield because he trains very well. We decided to keep him, to get to know him better, and not to give him on loan or find another solution for him in winter. And I'm happy about that. I feel him very strong in finishing in our trainings. He's a very nice character, a nice guy from the academy, another nice guy, very, very humble, and at the same time totally focused, totally clear when you talk to him, very self-aware. It's a pleasure to work with him, and I hope he can continue like this. He has both feet on the ground and is here, and I feel him very grateful that he has this chance to train and learn on this kind of level and be part of a strong team. And I'm happy with him, and he needs to be patient and impatient at the same time, which is always the target and the task for the young guys in a big club.
A place in the FA Cup semi-final up for grabs. Sheffield United have never won an FA Cup tie at the Bridge, and the Blues have lost just one home game in the Cup since 2015. Thomas Tuchel has gone big as well. A strong side selected for today, with Mason Mount leading the side as captain. So let's talk about Mason as our one to watch today. Obviously, second time he's worn the armband this season. Captained the side versus Luton Town in an earlier round of the FA Cup, which is Frank Lampard's last game, obviously, as manager at Chelsea. More minutes than any other Chelsea player this season. His 45th game for club and country this season, Jay. I mean, we talk about Mason most weeks about how brilliant he is, how much output we get from Mason Mount in terms of quality and just general work rate. But he does set the tone and set the pace, doesn't he? And as fans, when you've got someone wearing the armband, you know how much it means to them. It does. It's a brilliant feeling.
Without question, for me, he's been our best player this season. The game when he came off the bench against Wolves, I think shows what he really does add to the team. You know, we were a little bit flat on the night, and I felt that maybe Tuchel could have brought him on maybe 15, 20 minutes earlier. But the impact he had and the energy levels that he brings, and like I said, there are some games where he has been outstanding, the head and shoulders the best player on the pitch, and he plays with a smile on his face. He's got a wonderful attitude. He's brilliant technically. He's very, very gifted. And what a day for him again to wear the armband of a club that he's been at since he was, well, could barely walk. So, yeah, another an incredibly proud moment for him in what's been a brilliant career. The rise of Mason Mount, if you think about, what's happened over the last 18 months or so. So yes, he's an incredibly important member of this squad. And like I said, I think right now, it had to be a vote, he would probably win Chelsea's Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, mate. I think you're right. I think he's definitely in the top two, isn't he? There's certainly a conversation to be had, but he's always going to be up there because you see how much he puts into it. And Claire, just on that point about his 45th game for club and country this season, you'll have been in campaigns where you're playing for England and you're playing for Chelsea on a week-by-week basis. And there's such an immense turnover of football, obviously exaggerated this season because of the congestion and because of the truncated season we've got. But do we kind of forget that a little bit? Mentally, he never looks fatigued. Physically, he never looks fatigued. I know there's going to have to come a point at some point where he's going to need a rest. But like Jason just pointed out, there's eyebrows raised whenever he's not in the starting 11, which for a player that's played 45 already this season, it's got to be a big ask. Yeah,
I think he deserves everything that is coming his way at the moment. His work ethic is incredible. I don't think I've heard anyone speak a bad word about him as a person as well. But I think, the amount of games he's playing, you do at some stage think, does he need a bit of a rest? But I think when the way he's feeling, his confidence, I'm sure he'll be communicating with the medical staff back and forth. They'll be making sure that he's, feeling his best and is not at any kind of a risk. But I think for me, he's a top player, and I do think he still can go another level. I think he has the potential to be one of the best midfielders in the world.
Dan, I know you've spoken to him earlier in the season on Unscripted, and I know that sort of personally, when you speak to him or whenever you see interviews with him, he comes across as someone that's just taking it all in his stride, just loving life at the moment, and it feels that he enjoys everything about playing for Chelsea and captaining Chelsea and being relied upon. And he's only, 22 years of age? Such an immense amount of pressure on such young shoulders. But he doesn't give off the air of a 22-year-old, does he?
No, he takes it all in his stride. I've always found of footballers that, some don't have the biggest personalities, that they are very at home on the pitch. They're not extremely personable, some of them. But he could be absolutely anywhere and he'd be the life of the party. He really would, an office job, anything. It doesn't matter. He's just got a very big personality. He's very bubbly. You can tell he absolutely loves being a footballer. He lives it. And it comes across on the pitch, like he works hard all the time, regardless of how much technical ability he has. He is honestly just a huge asset to this club, and just a person and a player that the club can really, really be proud of.
Jay, I know that we've seen an enormous amount of energy and output from him on the pitch, but we saw it in the stands the other night against Atletico Madrid. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed him, Jorginho and Thiago Silva celebrating that Emerson goal. And it does, but that's the kind of togetherness in the field. As a fan, I know every Chelsea fan I have seen probably spoke about that more than the two legs that we've just beaten Atletico over, because it encapsulates the feeling around the football club at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he would have been devastated that he wasn't part of that, because when he picked up the booking that made sure that he was going to miss that, him and Jorginho, he would have been gutted, absolutely gutted, because that was a big game out here for us, and he wanted to be part of it. But the next best thing is supporting and cheering the lads on, and I think it just goes to show another step further, the players that didn't play, Christensen or Thiago Silva would have played. We didn't have the two players that were obviously suspended as well. So I think that strength in depth there, the way we played, really was encouraging. The fact that Mason has been our best player this year, I've got to tell you, I don't think we missed him on the night, which is a good thing. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It was great to see, and God, long may that continue.
Claire, I think Thiago Silva as well. I think he should be given a coaching badge just for the work he did in the stands. I mean, that is a case study. I've never seen. We made the joke on the night on Matchday Live that if someone could get the Opta stats for distance covered for Thiago Silva, because he was up and down the stairs, he was along the seats, he was everywhere. And I mean, for a player that has come in so recently, to have the impact he's having, how much of an impact as a defensive player would that have had to see Thiago Silva? Shouting instructions from the touchline in such an important game.
It's the leadership, isn't it? And that's exactly, he was directing traffic, wasn't he, up there? I think everyone felt like they wanted to be standing next to him. I certainly did. I thought, I felt like I wanted to watch him sometimes a little bit more than the game. But I think it just does really show how much he loves the club, how much accountability he takes as well, and how much responsibility. I think he'd be hating the fact that he wasn't on that pitch, but if he can help in some way, I don't know whether the players would be looking up and looking at him for the direction, but they even hear a friendly voice in the stadium, because it's quiet, isn't it? So they would have been able to hear him. But I think, it was lovely to see, wasn't it? And that celebration of them all, I think I watched that about 100 times now. I wanted to be in with them, giving the big
It's so good, isn't it? It's just such again, because we haven't got fans in there, to see players that are acting like fans is just lovely. Yeah, I completely agree. I've seen it 100 times, but it never gets old, and I'm sure that'll be a highlight for the season. Wednesday night was a terrific night for the club, for the direction everyone's going in. I think that the hardest part was picking a standout player on the night. Hakim Ziyech has been one of those. He's certainly had his critics over the last couple of months since having a sort of a stuttering start with injuries and such, but he showed on Wednesday night just how good he is, and he topped it off with a goal as well. So let's have a look at that.
It was one of the best, if not the best, performance from a Chelsea side this season against Atleti, and it coincided with this man's best performance since that big money move from Ajax in the summer. He's had his problems with injuries, clearly, consistently not been in that side, and that's what players need. But he looked fitter, looked stronger, and he looked sharper, quicker to the ball, and it looked like he was enjoying himself as well. His link-up play clearly is a major factor of his game. He's always looking for runners in behind their back four if he can find them, and more often than not he does. Havertz has run here. Just watch Havertz on the right of your screen. He makes the run. Hakim Ziyech knows he's gone in there. He has a look. That's the ball he really likes to play, in behind their back four, but he needs the runners. Next occasion, lovely quick feet here, but you watch Werner. He's off. He realises that pass is on. Beautifully weighted. In the end, on another day, maybe Werner scores a goal for himself. He has got an eye for goal. He has got a wonderful left foot. Beautifully opened up on that occasion. And what was really pleasing about the goal was the big money moves in Havertz, Werner, and in the end finished by Ziyech, all had a part in the goal. And yes, it did remind me a little bit of Ramirez to Didier Drogba against Barcelona in 2012. Is it an omen? Who knows?
Dan, Wednesday night was just another example of how good Hakim Ziyech can be. And the Champions League really is his competition, isn't it? I mean, that everyone remembers the Ajax montage from him zipping balls in the Bernabeu and just running rings around players. But Wednesday night, I think, we've seen it in glimpses, but in a big game, big players step up, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and we know what he's capable of. We've seen it time and time again. This season's been a bit start-stop. We saw glimpses at the beginning. Everyone knew, what a player this is. Then it almost seemed as though he lost a little bit of dynamism, but I feel like the whole team did. It wasn't just him. We did lose a little bit of something in that little rough patch, and now he looks like he's backfiring on all cylinders. And he's a top player. He's not renowned for his running, I guess, but it's nice to have it, and he definitely kept up with Werner to put the goal in.
Jace, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I mean, I haven't got a sort of an extensive knowledge of him at Ajax, but from what the research that I've done and from what I've seen, Ajax play a 4-3-3. He plays on the right of the attacking three, and that's kind of his position. He's allowed to drift inside. He's allowed to do different things. And once a player's been there for a little while, and you know what they're capable of, and he's performing to the level he's been performing, you're kind of left to your own devices. Where you come into a new club at Chelsea. We saw a 4-3-3 at the start of the season. We saw a 4-2-3-1 with him playing as a 10, with him playing as a wide right. And then obviously Tuchel comes in as a different system again. He's got to learn all these different roles and stuff. And I think that maybe gets forgotten a little bit as well, because you're right, he's had injuries, but also he's got to learn about 4 or 5 different systems for a player that's had it so comfortable for the last 6 or 7 years and familiar at Ajax. So maybe is there a little bit of that, and perhaps he doesn't get as much sort of cut slack as he should.
I think there's a whole host of reasons as to why we've not seen the best of him or Havertz. And I kind of put them in a similar kind of category because of the big money move, the transition from a completely different lifestyle, a different culture. That move there put them on they weren't already the world map, but that elevated them another level, the expectancy levels. Then you talk COVID, then you bring in the injuries, then you bring in the change of management. There's a number of things that I could point to say that's why we've not quite seen the best of them. But the one thing I noticed about Ziyech and Havertz is that they look fit, they look sharp, and I can't honestly say that I can look back at games and go, God, he looks on his game, he looks at full tilt, and they did. The pair of them, Havertz last week and Ziyech this week, and maybe it's taken a little bit longer than we all wanted for things for players to settle. But if we can continue this now between now and the end of the season, the best still might even be yet to come. That's how excited I am, because the Werner, the shot that Werner had where Ziyech has just danced around the challenge and slid him in. They're the runs he needs. They're the balls he loves to play. And Werner has got to get in behind there. Havertz is another one. Mason is another one. And we haven't really seen enough of all of those lads playing together. So, look, the rest of this, there's still, you think about where we were, Christmas time, where things started to go wrong, to where we are now. And these boys have got a huge, huge amount to still do for this football club this season.
Wednesday night did allow us all to get a little bit carried away. None more so than Jason Cundy, who put in our group chat a video comparing Hakim Ziyech's goal to a Didier Drogba goal from back in the day, which I absolutely loved. But Claire, that's the kind of that's always going to be the comparison, isn't it? Because we do look back to times where we had players that would link up and so familiarly and so regularly do that. The fact that Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, and Hakim Ziyech were all involved in Chelsea's second goal, the third one on aggregate, obviously at the week in the week, is a big deal for us, because those are the three players that I suppose we have got a lot more to come from. And the fact we're now getting towards the business end of the season, they're doing that against Atletico Madrid. It's a reason to get carried away.
Yeah, it was a devastating combination, wasn't it, of the three summer signings. I think it was a devastating goal, not just for the fact that it, put us ahead against Atletico, but I think for confidence-wise for Ziyech, I think after the goal, he did kind of raise his levels, and hopefully that can give him kind of an extra boost. But I think for me, I know we've been slightly criticised, haven't we, for a bit of a sterile lack of flair. But I think the evidence on that is kind of the fact that it potentially now starting to come together with the combinations of these fantastic players, and how dangerous we can be if we get left to spaces in behind.
Yeah, completely agree with that. And it's actually it's perfect about our next topic today, which is, could Tuchel's start have gone any better? It seems a little bit like a rhetorical question, Dan, because he's 13 games unbeaten, which is a new Chelsea record. But everything that's gone on in that time, we've got some important results. Even I think it was Jason that made this point in one of the previous Matchday lives. But you look back at some of the results now that over time, at the time, you were a little bit like, okay, maybe there's some work to do. Even Barnsley, away from home, getting a 1-0 win. They are flying in the Championship. They're playing some excellent football and beating teams comfortably. The Man United result and then Liverpool result, you get a point in Man United and you think, okay, they beat Man City the next week. So overall, in terms of a complete package, could it have gone any better?
Not really. Yeah, I mean, it could have gone slightly better. There's a couple of games that we've drawn that could have been wins. So that's your answer. But essentially, no. It looks like the team are really together. Even the players that aren't playing, they look like when they're coming in, they really are doing a job, and everyone seems to be pulling in the same direction. So, look, as flying starts go, this is as good as they get. It really is. We've beaten some big names, and we've clawed back a lot of points. So yeah, onwards and upwards. I feel like he's been excellent for Chelsea.
Jace, man management's obviously a massive thing for any manager coming into a new club, especially, following on from a manager that was so popular as Frank was. But the Callum Hudson-Odoi situation, I suppose, is one that everyone will level at Thomas Tuchel very quickly. And I think he deserves a huge amount of praise for how he's dealt with it, because you bring on a player and you sub off a player. That's one, I suppose, from a player's perspective, that's one of the worst things that can happen to you. It feels that way anyway. It gets drummed up such a big thing, but the way that it was done, the way that it was dealt with, the way that immediately it was referred to in the post-match press conference with Lee or Ben, I can't remember who it was, but then he starts the next game, and clearly Callum is such a huge part of the way that Thomas Tuchel plays. So that man management side, that authority straight away to say, look, I'm going to make decisions. There might be difficult decisions. I mean, 39 changes to the starting 11, for example, but it doesn't seem like there still seems to be that huge amount of togetherness and everyone buying into it. That's so important for a new manager, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with a player being subbed that's just come off the bench. If he's not doing his job or things change, I think he came on at 1-0 down. And when he took him off, it was 1-1. The game had changed. I I think too much was made of it, and a lot of hysteria. Does it look good? No. Is it slightly embarrassing? Yes. But he's not there to please anyone. This is not a popularity contest. He's there to make the best decisions for that football club and change the game as it's going on. And that's what he's paid to do. In-game management throughout that 90 minutes. And from minute 1 to minute 20, things change as they do from 20 to minute 60. And you've got to make decisions based on what's in front of your eyes. I didn't have a problem with that. And he has definitely, it feels as though when Frank left and you hear you start to wonder about the camaraderie at the club. I feel it's stronger now. And that's only just reading bits in the paper and hearing rumours about how things were going. A lot of players were ostracised. The obvious choices are going to be Marcos Alonso, Christensen, Rudiger, who right now are flying, absolutely flying. And he has come in, he's given every single player a fair chance. We might have been lulled into the fact that he might have been favouring Pulisic. Well, that's not been the case. He gets his chance today, and clearly him and Callum, he likes Callum. He's played Callum as often as he possibly can. And I think he shows that he respects him as a player. And that decision on that day was something that he had to do for the best of the football team.
It's been a change in the opposition dugout as well, fairly recently, Claire, with a strange situation with Chris Wilder, I suppose, because it was first reported, I think, about 10 days ago that perhaps he was going to walk away, and there didn't come an announcement for about 36 hours. Eventually, there did come the announcement. Paul Heckingbottom's now in charge for the remainder of the season. Lost their opening game last week at Leicester 5-0. Bottom of the Premier League. Not huge amount of chance. Many people are giving them to get out of that. It looks like they'll be a championship club next season. So I suppose today is a fresh start for everyone, like we've seen. That can rejuvenate players, but also there's no pressure on them. You know, they can go for the FA Cup, knowing that this is, I suppose, a little bit of a welcome distraction from their league.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it looks like they've got a bit of the heart ripped out of them, and they've Sheffield United, the display was quite upsetting, I guess, for some of their fans, for them to lose in that way. But I think for me, it's the fact that that's a dangerous place to be in, because they can only go up from there, can't they? It can't probably get any worse. So, and as we said, the FA Cup, you never know what's going to happen. But a big miss for them is obviously Amsterdam is not allowed to play, right? Because I think he's not allowed to play against his parent club. And they've McKeldrick, I think I don't know if he's making the squad, but he's been nursing a bit of an injury. So I think they don't have a full squad, which is their strongest squad, and I think they are lacking the confidence. But that can be a dangerous. A wounded animal is normally quite dangerous, isn't it? Yeah, is that the saying? I don't know. I'll make it up. It says left, right, centre.
It sounds about right, Claire. I'll give it you. It sounds right. I have no clue. Unfortunately, that is all from us. Kick off fast approaching, of course. Before we join our commentary team, Lee caught up with the boss as he looks forward to hopefully a semi-final FA Cup position.
Another big cup game this weekend. What are you expecting from Sheffield United?
Well, they had a new manager now, and they had a big loss in Leicester. A bit of a rough start for the new manager, so I'm not so sure how it affected them, which leads to the conclusion that we stay concentrated and focused on us. But it was a tough match in Sheffield, a lot of long balls, a lot of challenges, a lot of duels with the head, a lot of tackles. It was a very strong defensive performance from Sheffield on our match against them. So now they suffered a big loss. We are in a good moment. The target is now to refocus again. We said straight after the Leeds game, we put Premier League aside. We focus on quarterfinal now. Let's go to quarterfinal, because we have the feeling we can be there, and we can be there deserved. And let's focus on Wembley. We want to be semi-final in Wembley. That means we need a win, and we need to take it. I'm pretty sure that nobody will will give us a gift. They will come here to fight for everything. They will come here to do the best out of their role as an underdog, and we need to be sharp again. We need to be ready again, and keep the momentum going.
A win though at the weekend would see a trip to Wembley and an FA Cup semi-final. How much would you look forward to that as an occasion?
This is what we all want. This is what I want personally. I mean, clearly, if you go to England, if you go to Premier League, you go and you're in London, you think about Wembley. This is the stadium. This is the stadium in Europe, and to arrive with Chelsea and with this squad in semi-final would absolutely mean a lot to me personally. But
that this is the goal that we set for the team also and for us together. Right after the Leeds game, we want to take what's ours, and we want to go to quarter final, and we want to go to Wembley.